All right, y'all, it is turbo time. We got a giveaway going on right now. You guys can win this 80mm billet wheel VS Racing Turbo. All you guys have to do is go to lsnasty.com, get entered to win. We got a brand new mystery box for this month out right now, which counts as 5 entries to win this bad boy. And we have a brand new small block Ford inspired small block nasty hub shirt. So go check that out. First link in the description below. I'm not going to bug you guys with a long ass intro, but someone go win this turbo. Get entered to win. lsnasty.com. Let's get into today's video. All right, guys, back in the shop after a weekend of a little bit of racing, and we are working on Slick Rick. Now, if you guys have been paying attention to the Slick Rick videos, it looks a little bit different under the engine bay. Everything has been all painted up, and we got a new firewall in the car. So we took the car over to our buddy's shop, Junior Bissett. He does a bunch of really good work, and he put in this awesome firewall and did a support for the cowl so that doesn't collapse when you go 350 miles an hour. He also helped weld out our brake pedal bracket on the back side there while everything was cut out of the car. So this one right here, firewall, it was like Swiss cheese. Had holes in a bunch of different places. They ran an intercooler back there. They had different grommets for the wiring harness. Obviously a different motor. Gonna have different holes in the firewall. So we took it over to him. He threw the firewall in there in a day or two. Did a really amazing job. Painted the front end, welded all the bars out. We had the bars kind of like welded in there. Some of them more than others, but he went through and welded them all the way out. So our front end is ready to go. He cleaned up where all the other tubes were. So like this thing right here is looking top notch, ready to go, nice and clean under the engine bay. So want to give a big shout out to Junior Bissett, Bissett Performance, local here in North Carolina. He absolutely hooked it up. So he got us in there, got it knocked out in like a day or two. Just super painless, did an amazing job. Really thankful to have him helping us out so we can get this thing done. So we have some other very exciting goodies for this build that we're almost there. Like we're very close to like, all right, let's put it together and get it fired up. So this right here is one of the key ingredients to a badass 140mm turbo kit strapped to a 481X. Matt drew this up in CAD. We talked about this. He's was on Fusion doing some like nerdy shit. I don't even know what it's called, designing, engineering, who knows what. But sent this over to the guys over at TCAM Performance and Laughlin Fabrication, and they were able to put this in their, like 900 axis CNC. I mean, this thing was doing all sort of dances and shit and getting drilled, and there's water going everywhere. And this thing started off as like a block billet, and now it is a dual inlet to T7. Is this T7? I think it's T7. Yeah, T7. So it's dual 3.5-inch inlet to T7 for the Hart's 140mm turbo. This one right here is very nice. They sell them. I think Hart's is the only company that sells a flange for it. But what's nice about this one is you have your tubes coming in at different angles, and that makes it a whole lot easier to weld everything out. This one right here, it's got like a countersunk, bore to it, so you can help really set the tube and the pipe or whatever you call it, set the tubing in there and weld it all the way out. This is sweet. This is sweet. Some people say you got to run 4-inch. I think we've done the math, talked to Jose and all that stuff, and sometimes going a little bit smaller in your tubing keeps that velocity up, opposed to having like a 4.5-inch hot side that goes to it, and then it's total pain in the ass. So Matt drew this up. The guys over at TCAM Performance and Laughlin Fabrication cut it, and it's absolutely sick. I mean, it's badass. This thing is second to none. So shout out to all those people over there, Matt and everyone helping out getting this build done. So now the only thing we're waiting on really to get the ball rolling is the turbo. So the turbo's been on order for a while at Hart's, and once it gets here, we're going to get everything together and put it in the car. So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to put the engine back in the car, headers back on it, and transmission in the car. No converter, because we're still kind of in like the mock-up stage. As far as drop the transmission to put the converter in there, that's a piece of cake. But we want to get this stuff in there so when the turbo does arrive, we can go right into fabrication and get the turbo kit done. Also, another really important thing that we got to go along with this turbo, we got in how we're going to get the air to the turbo, but how are we going to get the air out of the turbo? All right, I showed this in one of the other videos. This is the exhaust. So right here is your billet 7-inch flange that goes to the back of the turbo. we're used to like our GT55 or our large frame stuff, which is a 5-inch exhaust. This is a 7-inch exhaust to dual 5-inch. Steven Eads over at Rock Solid Motorsports hammered this out. Honestly, at this point in the game, he does all of our exhaust pipes and merges because he's great at it. It's super painless just to call him up and be like, hey, I need one of these. I don't really have a lot of room. Can you make a Y? He made the one that goes vertical for the Colorado. Like, got it from him, stuck it on there. It fits. I have a bunch of clearance. Like, he is a problem solver. So big shout out to Steven and all the guys over at Rock Solid Motorsports. If you guys haven't checked out their YouTube channel, it's one of the few YouTube channels I watch because he does a lot of tech stuff, talks to you about building stuff. I think that stuff's really cool. So he's a really smart dude. They're doing a bunch of amazing work over there. And if you guys have a turbo kit coming together, I highly recommend hitting them up and being like, hey, Steven, got a GT55 turbo. I need to get a flange for it. I want to run a dual 4-inch. And he'll just whip you up one of these. So this one is a 7-inch for the Hearts turbo with a dual 5-inch, which is absurd. Compared to like what we run, this thing is absolutely mondo. It's wumbo. It is massive. So we're just waiting on the turbo. We're going to slap all these turbo pieces on there and get making the kit. The kit's probably going to be pretty small and compact, but it's a lot of big diameter tubing compared to what we're used to. And it's definitely going to be a game of chess to make it all fit. So, like I said before, I got Timmy here in today's video. He's going to help me out. We're going to stick the 481X back in the car with the brand new motor plate and mid plate deal we got going on. Try not to ruin the nicely, freshly painted firewall that Junior Bissett and the guys over at Bissett Performance installed. And then we're going to get the transmission stuck in the car. Leave it up on the Pro Jack so then it's ready for when the turbo comes in. We can really get the turbo placement and get all that stuff rocking and rolling. So, you guys want Slick Rick done? I want Slick Rick done. I think everyone wants Slick Rick done. I want to hear it fire up. And we're getting very close to making it happen. So, I guess let's get started in today's video. Should the next turbo giveaway I do be a 140 millimeter turbo? People just like use it as like a paperweight or something. All right, we got Timmy here. We got the motor here. It doesn't like our coin floor. No. It messes that up. It's a common issue. We got our lockup transmission right there to go in. I got to get a jack to put that in.
Getting it done, boys.
We got VJ here. We're about to put the car up in the air on the Pro Jacks. One thing I do want to add to this is an actual Pro Jack tab up front. As you can see, it's just kind of got these stoppers on the outside, which I guess kind of work, but it allows the car to move front and back. So I guess the game plan would be we'll get the transmission up under the car, get it like up to the mid plate area, then we'll set the motor in till it's in there, then we'll bolt it in, and then we'll slap the motor plate on. I got to find the motor plate tabs though.
Yeah.
I wasn't here when it got taken apart, so now I'm kind of I'm kind of searching high and low.
I was,
but you weren't boss man.
I was just told what to write.
Where is boss man today? Where's the boss man?
Boss man's working. Boss man's working. So we're just over here bossless. But that firewall does look good as hell though. Look at that. Hell yeah. All right, BJ, what's the plan?
Don't break the bank account. Too late.
Too far from that. See what's hanging.
All right, we got to set the motor in there. I can't find bolts for the transmission cross member back here. I got my Bellhausen bolts, but the transmission cross member bolts that go into the actual tail shaft, I can't find the bolts for. So as of right now, I'm going to stick the motor in there, and if I have to go get bolts tomorrow, I will, because everything's got to close around here. So we'll get this stuck in there. Motor in the frame rails, mid plate to the motor, or sorry, motor plate to the motor, and then we bolt the motor plate to the chassis. Matt made these really nice where they have a tube in there, and it's welded out so the bolt slides right through. Nut on the back. Good to go.
Sound like a Chevrolet.
small block. Got her in there. Actually, it doesn't go in bad. The biggest issue we have is the floor. We got this badass floor. It's really good to work on. Cleans up really well. But when you roll like a 800-pound motor on it, it doesn't like it. So we're working on the V2. But we got the motor in there. It goes in very easy, I think. Obviously, it doesn't have all the other fuel pump and lines and everything on there. It's just a motor and transmission at this point. So got the motors in there. These are nice motor plates Matt made. Everything looks good. It's all painted up from Junior Bissett. I kind of got this sitting here so you guys get an idea of how it's going to be. We were talking about if we can figure out a way to run the exhaust in this area in front of the steering shaft, but behind this down bar here, run the 5-inch exhaust out, little like bullhorn type black sheep-ish deal there. And the hot side's going to come up over here and then loop in on each side. So it'd be like hot side there, exhaust there, charge pipe that way. So it's gonna be a lot of shit going on here because like look at how big this just this 5-inch dual 5-inch exhaust is. I mean, it's massive. But you know, and then trying to figure out how much room. I mean, you gotta think if we put the exhaust here, you still got the fuel pump. I think you can clock the fuel pump sideways though, and then run it that way so it's not going up and down and gain some real estate there. But it's definitely going to be not trial and error, but a lot of figuring out in order to get it right. So sure, the chickens like what's that? Are they cock-a-doodle doing? Like is that a verb?
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. So we got the motor in there. The next thing we're waiting on is the turbo. We got the turbo flange, like I said before. So once the turbo comes in, it's full on fabricate, drive shaft, wiring, plummet, go test. So I think we're there. We got some wheels on order. We're gonna put different wheels on it. The front end fits good. Getting everything to fit under the hood is going to be an issue in itself. Junior Bissett made this mount here to brace for the cowl. So when you set the cowl hood on there. But as you can see, she's gonna be close. It's gonna be a close one, that's for sure. What do you think? It's gonna fit or no? You
It'll fit.
This would be like our only car that we don't have to cut something out the hood if it does fit.
It's gonna fit.
So, all right, well that's pretty good. I got to get new hardware to bolt up the transmission to the transmission cross member. Right now it's just setting on there, and then some new bolts. I guess some of the bolts work for the bell housing. But when we go, we're gonna make sure we get all badass grade 8 hardware, and yeah. So tomorrow I'll come in the morning, throw the headers on there, and then we'll really start seeing everything come together. I'm hoping the turbo comes in like tomorrow or the next day, sometime this week maybe. That'd be great. And then we can get to it. But yeah, dude, look how good the firewall looks back here. Kind of like showing it off. You can see we're gonna have to cut a couple holes in it to run some grommets through, but be able to run our fuel line back here. We got plenty of room, so he cleaned it up really nice. So shout out to Junior Bissett Performance, and I'd say right about the same time the S10 is gonna wrap up, this thing's gonna wrap up. We're gonna have 2 hot rods coming out, so one of them you're gonna win or have a chance to at least, but it won't be this one. It'll be the other one. But right now you have a chance to win that turbo, and I'm not pointing at BJ. Hit him with the merch plug, BJ.
Damn, this thing here. It's like a girl with a big butt. Who don't like a girl with a big butt? You go to LS Nasty, buy some merch, enter a chance to win this badass turbo.
That's gonna wrap today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Comment, subscribe. We'll see you guys tomorrow's upload.
He get the buy this round. John Doc got the buy this round. The black sheep on the property. He got the buy for the next round.